Hello, good morning. I had a little insight, well, not a little insight, it was a big insight this weekend, and I wanted to share it because I thought perhaps it might inspire you in some way. And so here it is. The insight is this, that a lot of the disease and the suffering and the difficulty that many of us are facing on this planet that we're living on here, Earth, is that there's some part of us that is not willing to allow all the love in. And let me tell you what I mean by that. What I mean by that is that we're sort of marinating or soaking or swimming in this love that's trying to get in. So we sort of have this mundane aspect to our reality, our world, that is challenging and difficult, and there's rent to pay and maybe a boss to please or a partner to please or whatever it is, something challenging. But there's also this other aspect where there's this kind of love soup we're swimming in. And where the problem is that we're not willing to allow all of that in. Maybe sometime you have a good day and you're allowed to let quite a bit of it in. But the insight that I got is a lot of us are not willing to let a lot in. And some of us aren't willing to let any of it in, and that causes a lot of suffering and a lot of pain. And so if you suspect, like me, that you're not letting it all in, I noticed in myself I could perceive maybe there's this, 20% of me, it's hard to put a percentage on it, but that won't let that in. If you perceive that in yourself, you might be asking yourself, well, how do I let it in? And the insight I got is, to let it in, we need to relax. That would be one thing to do. Breathe. That would be another thing. And then as we're in this relaxed kind of breathing place, which can take a little time, you might need to sit down to do it. As we're relaxing and breathing, just kind of imagine ourselves taking in that love, if we can, and see if we can even perceive that, that goodness trying to get in. And if we can't, that's okay. Maybe we just breathe, and maybe we just say something out loud to ourselves, like, I'm willing to let all the love that's trying to get to me to come into me. Because it is that love that really sustains us and animates us and energizes us and allows us to become all that we are. But when we're constricting it, or we're holding on so tight, or we're holding our breath, which I don't know about you, but I catch myself doing that sometimes, in that state, in that clenched up state, we're not really able to let that love in. So relax, breathe, and see if you can challenge yourself, although it sounds quite wonderful, but challenge yourself to allow a little bit more love in. Because my hunch is we could all let a little bit more in. Some of us could probably let a lot more in, and how beautiful the world would be, and how good we would all feel, and much better we would feel, even though life is still challenging, but it might be less challenging if we let some more of that love in. And another pro tip might be to say a prayer that people who who are suffering can let that in. Because it can be a scary proposition if for years or decades or maybe lifetimes we haven't been able to let it in. So here's me breathing and relaxing, and I hope you have a beautiful day.